So if I had a function, f of x, it's in, and it was something simple like x plus 3. Okay, so what that does is, let's say we got a little function machine here. If we put a number in, let's say like 4, okay, out would come a 7. Okay, and this is f of x. Now its inverse takes that 7 and turns it back into a 4. That's what we call the inverse. So if I wanted to take a 7, change it back to a 4, I'm going to subtract 3. And I end up with what I started with. That's what an inverse does. The way that we graph inverse is we fold it over the line y equals x. So on here, the original graph is the solid one, and the dotted graph is the inverse. Okay, so if I had a rational function and I wanted to graph its inverse, okay, I'm going to take one branch of this rational function, this one in the upper left-hand corner. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over the line y equals x. And when I do it, it's not going to land on the other branch. It's going to land on this dotted branch, which is the inverse. Okay, so when I take that and I fold it over, okay, you can see it lands on the dotted graph, not the solid graph. Okay, if I took this bottom branch and I flipped it up to the top, it would land on this dotted branch. So what we're learning how to do is, what's the equation? Okay, so on this one, this is the original equation right here. And this is the equation of its inverse. That's the dotted equation. All right, so to get that, the first thing that you do, we'll just go right down this list here, okay, is title of this inverse is inverse okay, rational functions. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do here, here's our function f of x. All right, and the question is find its inverse. This is the notation for the word inverse. All right, so if we go down our list of steps here, step 1 is replace f of x with y. Okay, that's easy. Okay, that was our first step. Okay, second step is change x to y and y to x. So switch the two. Okay, so this y becomes an x. And these two x's become y's. So I swapped x and y. Okay, now the last part, which takes the most steps, is solve it for y. All right. So to do this, it's going to take several steps. The first thing we want to do is get rid of that fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3y minus 2. Okay, so that will end up looking like this. 3y minus 2 and 3y minus 2 and 3y minus 2. Okay, so these are going to cancel. So over here, I'll have that expression, and over here, I'll have y minus 4. Okay, so we're going to have x times 3x minus 2, and then over here, y minus 4. All right, now we'll distribute. Left hand side. Okay, so I'm going to get 3xy minus 2x equals y minus 4. All right, now I want to get y terms on one side, x terms, all the other terms on the other. So get y terms on one side and other terms on the other side. And I'll post these guys along with this video. Okay, so I'm going to move this y over here, and I'm going to move this 2x to the right. Okay, so I'll do it step by step. Okay, and then I'm going to move the 2x over. So we've done all these three. Now factor out y. And that's going to allow us to isolate it. So when I pull that y out, I'm going to have 3x minus 1 and 2x minus 4. Okay, now divide by the 3x minus 1. And there's my inverse. And then what we do is we take out the y and we put in the inverse symbol. Three x minus 1. Now guys, I'm going to go ahead and do another example. The bell's probably going to ring, but I'm just going to leave this recording going, and then I'll post both examples. I mean, you're more than welcome to stick around, but you don't have to. And then I'll post the video of this and the notes for it. Okay. Okay, so again, that's the inverse symbol. Okay, so I got y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, now swap x and y. Now solve for y. That's the one that takes the most steps. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by y minus 3. Okay, cancel. And I'm going to have x times y minus 3. And 2y plus 1. Okay, just multiply both of those by x minus 3. Okay, and now it's distribute. Okay, get all the y's on one side, all the other terms on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to factor out y. Whoops. And I get y, let's see, x minus 2. And then I'm going to divide both sides by x minus 2. So the inverse of A is 3x plus 1 over x minus 2. Okay, folks, that's it. You should be able to do the assignment now, which is attached to the notes on what I posted yesterday. Okay, I'll see everybody. Have a good day.